What's up, Spartans? Welcome to the Spartan Up podcast. We are in the fantastic, extraordinary, beautiful Squaw Valley for the Spartan World Championships. We are your grit and resiliency team and family. Anything grit and resilience, you Google that, you look it up in an encyclopedia if those still exist, you'll see Spartan right next to it. I'm here with our founder and CEO, Joe DeSena.
Aru.
And we have an amazing podcast for you today. We are bringing to you Kressa Peterson, who is an everyday Spartan, somebody who is doing extraordinary things. She was on Shark Tank. She has this wonderful story. Ever heard the word shower toga? Shower and toga. It's kind of awesome together. So we're going to listen to Kressa. I want you to specifically listen to what are the points where she made pivots in her life and why she made those pivots. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about it.
Spartans, we are here for Spartan Up Podcast. We've got Kressa Peterson. We are sitting on the farm. This is ground zero, if you don't know it, for Sparta, right? We should have a little sound. Ooh. It's unbelievable if you're not watching what this farm looks like on a sunny day. We got the mountain behind us. There's a stone staircase. You saw it. There's a stone staircase that is 1 mile long, starts at the bottom. People come from all over the world to test themselves. Kressa somehow ends up in the Spartan orbit. When did that happen?
Well, I started doing Spartan races after I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And funny story. So the way it started was my husband, who you're going to meet tomorrow, damn it.
All right.
My husband, he came here early. My husband was about 40 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
I was honest to God worried he was going to have a heart attack. And I'm not exaggerating. He was getting pale. He was a football player in school. He was a huge athlete, but he got caught up in, struggles, our raising our children. We dealt with addiction from alcoholism from our daughter. That was tough for 2 years of our marriage. There was a lot of stuff we had going on. She's sober now, 9 years. She's
Nice.
a badass.
Nice.
But point is, life
Happens.
caught up with us.
Yeah.
And then I started worrying, I'm going to lose the love of my life because none of us are making good decisions. He saw...
And you're living in Texas at the time.
No, we're living in Atlanta. I grew up in Texas.
Okay.
But we're living in Atlanta at the time. And after we cleared out, the issue with our daughter's addiction, she's doing awesome.
How old was she and how old was he?
Well, she was 20 when she got sober.
Okay.
And she's 29 now. And so he was, it was 9 years ago. There you go. 9 years ago, and now he's 59. So he was 50 years old.
Okay.
And he saw, I got to back up because I bought him a Groupon for CrossFit. Not dissing CrossFit, don't get me wrong. The first CrossFit thing he went and did, he barfed, was so sick. He hurt himself, and he didn't go back. He's like, I'm not doing that. That for him, it didn't work. So a few months go by, and it's right before Christmas time, and we see an ad on television for a Spartan race. And my husband says, all he said was, that looks like fun. And I went, ding, and I bought him a Spartan race for Christmas. So 9 years ago, right? I buy him the Spartan race for Christmas, not knowing if he's going to really do it. So my son says, Dad, if you do it, I'll do it with you. Now, my son's, 16 at the time? He's, 25 now. And my husband's like, okay, he liked it because it had a competitive nature. He played football all through school. That competitive nature didn't go out of him. CrossFit didn't give him at the time that competitive nature. Anyway, long story short, I give him this Groupon Spartan race 9 years ago, and he goes, I'm going to do it. He trained. You know how he started training? He walked around the tennis court, honest story, in our neighborhood. The first thing he did, he walked around the tennis court 4 times. That's all he could do.
4 times.
4 times.
Around the tennis court.
Around the tennis court 4 times.
Wow.
So turns out he does his first Spartan race. Our son does it with him. He is absolutely ecstatic. I hadn't seen the guy excited about anything in 10 years. Literally not excited. Work, hustle, day to day to day, nothing that was breaking him free of that to find joy. And he found his thing. He ended up getting better and better and better. So I am, of course, in the background. I got to tell you, honestly, I went to one of his Spartan races, and I think it was the third one. I'm going to admit this to you now. I'm in the back behind the building catching my cigarette break and waiting for them to finish.
You were smoking cigarettes?
I'm laying it out there. I'm laying it out there. I was smoking cigarettes. I imported horses for forever, and all of the Europeans smoke. I got wrapped up in it. It's not an excuse. I'm just saying I got wrapped up in it. I'd smoke. We'd all do that socially. I'm watching him do the Spartan race. I'm smoking. Everything's cool. Take him back home. And then I got diagnosed with breast cancer. And I went, okay, this is not working. So how do I change my life and my perception, the way I helped guide my husband to find the Spartan philosophy to change his life and his perception? I watched it happen in front of my eyes and never applied it to myself until I had a disaster. And then I went, how am I going to fix this? I'm freaking out. Because me and my mother died of cancer. My aunts have died of cancer. My mother died of ovarian cancer at 56 years old. And then my aunts, two of my aunts died of breast cancer. It's a horrible disease. My getting the diagnosis basically to me meant I'm dying. That's like instant. That's just what goes into your mind.
How long had you been smoking at that point?
I didn't, and I say smoking. I smoked. I'm not going to say totally casually. I have to say for me, I was fortunate in that I was never addicted to smoking. I was addicted to the social aspect of it, yet I would, to calm down, go and smoke a cigarette. But I was never like a pack-a-day smoker. It was just a bad habit that came from being social in groups of people that also smoked and also drank. And it was just something I followed. I kind of followed in that unhealthy. Instead of backing up and going, you know what, this isn't good for me. I went, everybody else is doing it. Just a different mindset.
Sure.
So I decided, you know what, I'm going to do a Spartan race. And that started a freaking domino effect that has us where we are today.
So how many years ago was that? That was
9 years ago.
So 9 years ago, he does 3 races in like 4 or 5 month period.
Oh yeah.
And he's hook, line, and sinker.
He's hooked.
And you're sitting there smoking, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to do this.
Well, yeah. I mean, I got the breast cancer diagnosis, and all of a sudden, my thought process went from I'm going to live forever, I'm Superwoman, I can talk myself out of anything, to guess what? You're not Superwoman, babe. Yeah. You don't get to control cancer. You don't get to control your health by smoking and drinking and eating shit. Yeah. No, you're not Superwoman.
Yeah. And so it's funny because you're almost like a poster girl for everything we say. Once you sign up for some, by the way, there were studies that were just released. Harvard and I believe London's, I don't know what school in London or the UK, did 2 major studies and found that signing up for a gym, to your point, doesn't change your life. Committing to a diet doesn't change your life. Saying you're going to stop smoking doesn't change your life. But when you put a date on the calendar, it changes your life. You're 25 times more likely to keep all those things moving in the right direction if you've got a date on the calendar. And I'm doing this a long time, and I'm around this stuff for 40 years. And what I'll tell you, you tell me, don't just placate me. Tell me the truth.
Don't worry, I won't.
It's like a 5K doesn't really do it.
Nothing.
A marathon doesn't really do it. It's got to scare the shit out of you to get you doing what you don't want to do, because human beings are motivated and driven by avoiding discomfort.
Absolutely. Well, and then like Mount Fuji, for example, is a perfect example. As I don't know if the viewers know, we've been filming for Everyday Spartans through Spartan and Rakuten, and climbing Mount Fuji was, I it was an out of body experience. It was something that was so mentally, physically uncomfortable. And it was interesting because I've heard people talk about, oh, well, the reasons they do these things, whatever they are, they're going to climb Mount Everest, they're going to do an ultra, they're going to do the death race. Okay, I'm never doing the death race, man, just so you know. I ain't there. But they do these things, and I never understood it. I remember having an argument with my son. My son is a professional skydiver. He gets in huge formations, he wingsuits, he does all this stuff. And I'm like, why do you need to do this to your mother? And his answer is, I'm alive. Like, this is life. I honestly never got that until we climbed Mount Fuji. And I came down, and I was like zen for a few months. I was like, things didn't bother me as much. I put things into perspective. It was like, you know what? You got to get so uncomfortable that you go past where you think you can to find peace, which I never would have imagined had I
not done this.
Had you not pushed us to the
summit.
God help me. Oh,
that was awesome. But I think you're bringing up a good point. People like to stay in their little climate controlled bubbles.
Of course they do.
Right? We basically, in today's environment, certainly in the United States, we are growing up in a greenhouse.
Yes.
Right? Or I don't know if it's worse or better, but we're like zoo animals.
Well, and I think technology is actually, they talked about it in the beginning. Technology was going to give us all more free time. Oh, bull.
Yeah.
You look at everybody that is stuck on their phone. No. And I have to work on that because I work so much that I have to be really careful. I got here an hour early today because I had the way the, logistics worked out, and I made a conscious decision. I'm going to put my phone down, I'm going to put my purse down, and I'm going to walk across this beautiful grass, and I'm going to just feel the grass underneath my feet, and then I'm going to go stretch on that rock. And you know what? To me, that's even an effort. It's something I have to work on every day.
No, it's hard for all of us. I kind of like going on the mountain behind us. For those of you listening that can't see it, like I said earlier, we got trails all over there. I like going on the mountain because I don't have cell service. And so then once you're out there, you're completely disconnected. And it doesn't take long, by the way. I remember I lost my phone in Japan. It was 3 or 4 days. Before long, you're back to normal.
Yeah.
It's like any addiction, I guess, right? So every time we get that message or that email, that little sound in our phone, what it does, it releases chemicals in the brain. And so we want more of it.
They actually have done studies on that, too.
Yeah.
That it's actually an addiction.
It's an addiction.
Just like drugs or alcohol.
I want more incoming emails.
How many followers do I have?
Exactly.
How many people tweeted this?
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of it, too.
In the old days, we used to count how many cattle we had. Right?
Exactly. How many, coyotes came down and ate the sheep last night?
Right. How many likes do we have? Why don't you and I run up the mountain without devices?
Okay.
We'll do 300 burpees on top. Come down and finish the podcast.
I think we can do that.
Let's do it.
All right.
I hope you're not sitting still while you listen. If you are, you better get a burpee break in.
I'll tell you what, you're a lot tougher than you look. I mean, I would not have expected you to knock out 300 burpees that quickly and get back down the mountain. That was impressive.
Well, you gave me a few minutes to rest afterwards and refresh a little bit because I was completely sweating my butt off. And I did have to take way more breaks than you. I was going at half your pace.
That's all right. We got there.
But it's intimidating to go up the mountain and do burpees with Joe DeSena. You feel like a failure up there. But thanks for being patient and waiting on me.
You got it done.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's talk about some of the things we covered while we were climbing the mountain.
Ooh.
This crazy shower toga idea. Where the hell did that come from?
Well, after I started, after the breast cancer, I started doing shower toga. No, excuse me. I started doing Spartan races, after the breast cancer. And I raced for years. And what we would do is we were so, and still are, so kind of addicted to following, all right, we're in Atlanta. what's next? Okay, Asheville. Okay, what's after that? All right, North Carolina. Oh, we need to fly to SoCal. It's turned into this, insane kind of thing so we can keep bettering ourselves. Well, in the process of that, I had changing towels. Sometimes, like Asheville, we live in Atlanta. It's 5 hours back home. Well, we're not made of money. I'm still not made of money. I know everybody thinks you're on Shark Tank, you have all this money. That's not how it works. I haven't taken a dime out of my business yet for me. We still have to think about every dollar that we spend as a family. And sometimes we would stay at a hotel just so we could go back and actually get showered off and cleaned up. Because when you're in compression gear and you've got mud in every different orifice of your body and you can't get clean, and now you're going to drive home 5 or 6 hours, like for you, that's a cakewalk. For me, I had a breakdown in Asheville. It was probably 3 years ago. That was the breakdown race for me. And here's the interesting part of that. I cried. Big surprise. Cry all the time. But I cried at that race. I suffered at that race. I suffered mentally.
Was it cold? Was it hot? What was it?
No, I don't even know what it was. It was just my race to suffer. Like, I can't even come up with an excuse because I've been colder. I've been hotter. That race was, I think what it was is I was so muddy. It was a mud fest. I mean, miles of just going in mud that were sucking my shoes off forever. And I remember thinking, I knew I wasn't going to quit because the quit isn't in me. I'm kind of dumb like that. So the quit isn't in me. But when I finished the race, I was so mad because I was so filthy and so dirty. I had no way to get cleaned up. We checked out of the hotel room. I knew I had to get back in my car, and I had to drive 5 hours back to Atlanta, and I had nothing left. And I thought, I'm going to get naked in those showers and they can arrest me and I'll go to jail and maybe I'll get another shower there and that's okay. But honest to God, that's where Shower Toga was born with after that freaking Spartan Asheville race. I don't know why it broke me. That race broke me, but I got broken and it turned out to be one of the best things in my life. I looked all over. I looked on Amazon. I need to find something I can shower in, some way to shower when I'm done. If everything's like, here's a towel that has Velcro. I'm like, I can't get it wet. It's pointless. Here's a changing dress. Can't get it wet. Pointless to me for Spartan races.
Sure.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to Walmart and I'm going to buy anything that's waterproof. Only thing in Walmart that's waterproof is diaper cover material. They don't usually put Spartan helmets on diaper cover material, although might want to start that.
Spartan diapers.
Spartan diapers.
I like
you
that.
You heard it first here.
I like it.
Actually, it's not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea. So I ended up getting diaper cover material from Walmart, and it had forest animals all over it. I love animals, so it was a no-brainer. So I had forest animals all over it. I took a sewing class because I can't sew for anything.
Yeah.
So I took a sewing class. All these women are in there embroidering these beautiful little like baptism gowns for their grandkids. And I'm like, can I have some help over here? So I did. I took a sewing class. I made my first shower toga. It was never intended to sell as a product. Ever, ever, ever. It was for me to not have another nervous breakdown. That's all it was for. And I took it to the next Spartan race. I think it was in Atlanta. Trying to remember. I can't remember for sure. But I took it to a Spartan race and everybody made fun of me. They made fun of me. Like, they love me and we're all friends, but they're like, you've kind of lost it now. And I finished my race and I put my shower toga baby thing on and I got totally clean. And I was done, and I hung out with my friends, and I was sudsed up, and my hair was clean, and everybody's kind of moving like this. And after a few months of this, I had grown men, 6'5", built. Can I use that thing, Kressa? I have pictures of these badass Spartans in diaper cover material, and I went, I might have something here. So I did a Kickstarter. And you know who funded my Kickstarter? Other racers.
I love it. I love it. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm finding that out now.
You are finding that out now. The other racers supported me, gave me enough money to do my Kickstarter.
So grown men are wearing this diaper material from
Yeah.
Walmart?
You know why? Because I fixed a problem. I fixed a problem for myself. It was never intended to be a product. I fixed a problem for myself. So when I talk to other entrepreneurs, other people that are like, oh, you were on Shark Tank, I have an idea. I'm like, does it fix a problem? It does? Okay. Well, then you better go put one foot in front of the other and you make it happen so you don't have regrets. Okay. And that's the thing that, and I've talked about this in a lot of different podcasts. And, you may or may not have heard them. But what Spartan did for me is, look, we have our elite Spartan racers. They're great. They're badass. I look up to them as athletes. I don't want to be an elite Spartan racer personally. I race Spartan for the mentality, because what Spartan did for me was it gave me, I have a lot of confidence. Don't get me wrong. I do. I really, really, I care about myself. I love myself. But to have the confidence to take diaper cover material to market, go through the patent process with an attorney, people make fun of you on social media. People tell you that's stupid. Of course, I've never even tried it or seen it. People are just trolls on social media. Not everyone. But, and so all of that required me to dig deep and to be like, I think I got this. I think I got something figured out, and you don't have to like it. And I don't care if you do, because I think these people over here will like it. I got that extra thing from accomplishing Spartan races where I thought, there's no damn way I can climb that rope. There's no damn way I can do it. And I did it. And I'd come down and I'd go, holy crap, Kressa, you just did that. And I did the same thought process. Holy crap, Kressa, you just got a provisional patent. How did that happen? I don't know. I just put one foot in front of the other and I just made it happen. Holy crap, you spent, and I fought to get on Shark Tank. I wasn't, they don't just call you and go, Kressa, could you be in LA next week? No, it is an arduous months and months, tons of interviews, tons of videos. It is so hard to get on that show. They had 40,000 applicants for our season. They picked 250, 150 air. You have to be confident, explain your product, and you have to feel it. You have to believe that it's going to help people solve a problem. And I got to tell you, it's not BS. Doing Spartan races took my confidence to that next level that you have to go in and fight in the workplace, to go in and fight with investors, to go in and talk to people that go, that's a bad idea. And you go, you know what? It's not a bad idea. And let me tell you why. And before Spartan, I might have gone, I don't think it's a bad idea, but okay. That extra 10%, that's everything.
This is literally 40 years of my life and messaging and trying to convince people to do things and trying to explain what Spartan is and why they should get out of their comfort zone. You've encapsulated. I've never talked so little on any podcast. I think we have like 270 podcasts. I usually speak a little bit. You have just taken over the whole podcast.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine because you're nailing every point. And it literally, I apologize if you're listening out there, you're watching, and it sounds like a Spartan commercial.
No.
You and I don't even know each other.
No, it's not. No, it's just how it changed my life and created Shower Toga, it's this domino effect. I mean.
So then you're on Shower Toga, and then you're on Shark Tank, and then what happens? Then they threw you off, or did somebody invest, or what happened?
Yeah, I got to tell you, I got a deal with Mark Cuban, owner of the Dallas Mavericks. And a deal with Allie Webb, who owns a gigantic company called Dry Bar for blow dry for our women's hair when we're going to events. And ever since then, it has been an epic journey. I have to tell you, though, a lot of people think you go on Shark Tank, oh, you're done. questions are, everything's done. You got money now. You're on a yacht with a Cosmo with gold chains. It's nothing like that. Your hustle is just starting. Spartan mentality gets you there. Spartan mentality keeps you hustling when you're done. I'm incredibly fortunate that Mark saw something in me that I knew I had. I just had to figure out how to portray it, how to explain it, and when you're in front of somebody in person, I think it's easier. Like I've said before, I tried to get involved with Spartan because Spartan was the birthplace of Shower Toga. And I emailed and I messaged and I begged and I pleaded and I told my story, and it wasn't until Corolla, Jane, got it in marketing, CMO of Spartan. She went, hey, I like this. And all of a sudden, this beautiful relationship has started. It's not just a relationship between Shower Toga and Spartan. It's everyday Spartans. It's, in the Dallas race in Spartan, I've got a bunch of team members from Mark Cuban companies, celebrities, rappers. Our team is putting together people that are going to do the Dallas Spartan race. They haven't done a race before. So I feel like, wow, I've got some of these people going out and doing this race in Dallas. And it's just, it's an incredible journey.
All starting with a cigarette.
Yeah.
All right.
Ah, well, and it all, actually, I would say that it all started with literally worrying about my husband having a heart attack.
Thank God I ran that TV advertisement. Test,
no, I'm not kidding. Okay, so you trickle it down. It's that damn domino effect, right? It's the TV commercial. It's the husband who you're worried about who can't walk around the tennis court 4 times. And, of course, that's me putting all of those things he needs to do on him, not even looking back at myself.
What do you say to all those people out there that have a spouse or even themselves, and they're like, you know what? I'm in my 50s, I'm in my late whatever, and I'm done.
Okay, so that's going to bring us to a very interesting question for you and I.
Go ahead.
And because this is something I debated discussing with you ahead of time.
All right.
You look scared. No, and it's true. It's because I really want to know. So for me, my husband runs age group. He can get through all the obstacles. He's, for 59 years old, he can podium sometimes. He's a badass, right? For me, I had, not excuses, just facts. I had a double mastectomy. They had to take out a ton of muscle tissue because I had a horse accident that ruptured my implants. So I had silicone that just blasted into my body. So they had to take out a lot of muscle. This whole arm is titanium from a show jumping accident. I was a show jumping athlete, competitive for a long time. And I have limitations in upper body stuff. So I go and I do Spartan. So climbing the rope, it's hit or miss. Sometimes if it's real slippery, I can't get there. If it's dry, I can get there. So it's always a battle within myself at every Spartan race. Monkey bars, sometimes now that they're spread further apart, can't get there. This arm won't hold me up. So here's what happens. I do my burpees. I follow the rules. But I don't like, personally, this attack in social media for the people that say, and this happened actually just last week. I won't mention the group, but it happened last week. Somebody came out and said, you know what? If you can't do 30 burpees for every obstacle you can't finish, you shouldn't sign up for a Spartan race. And then everybody's quoting you. Everybody's taking screenshots of the rule book. So what happens is I've had a lot of people. I'm like, I want you to do a Spartan race. I want you to feel better. I don't care if you walk the whole thing. I don't care if you can't do the burpees. Do jumping jacks instead. Do squats instead. And they go, oh, no, I'm scared because somebody will take a picture of me and put it on social media. I want to know what your rule is on that.
It's interesting, right? Because the change 100 million lives mission is let's just get them out there.
Exactly.
But I also am a big believer, you saw it yesterday here on the farm, in accountability. And so as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking maybe for a group that's just not there yet, I like the way you describe it, we do like up downs or something. Like, okay, you can't do a burpee, but you could get, as long as your knees hit the ground and then you stand back up, something. But there's a separate zone for that because just like your husband that was only able to do 4 loops in the tennis court, they just might not be there yet.
Exactly.
But we don't want them staying on the couch.
Exactly.
Right? So I gotta work on that.
What if we did like a totally separate wristband and it was a Spartan in training? Not open, not age group. You can have your rules for whatever you want. But what about these people? Like I have an ambassador, for example. I picked him. His name is Wesley. I picked Wesley. Wesley was like 450 pounds, 6'5", big black guy. He lost 100 pounds. He's still got more weight to lose. Wesley is a Spartan fanatic. The reason I picked Wesley instead of picking some elite athlete or whatever is because Wesley has heart. He gets other people out there that are 400, 500 pounds, and they'll walk that course. They'll fight. They'll do, and they can't do everything. And to think about Wesley being shamed on social media,
unacceptable.
It makes me want to shoot somebody.
Yeah, unacceptable.
But it needs to come from you because
I'm going to work on that. We want an on-ramp, basically, for newbies. And, I was in Scotland once at a race, and I got to the finish line, and I saw people along the way. There were some cheaters. They weren't doing the 30
That's a
burpees.
different story.
And it was annoying me, and so I stood at the parking lot, and I said, point blank, as people were coming at me with their medals on their way to get their cars, did you do all your burpees? And if the answer was no, I took their medal.
Yeah.
And I said, you do them here in the parking lot. Yep. So we got to balance it. All right, so tell the truth. I mean, after Shark Tank, all of a sudden you're famous. You're hanging out with Mark Cuban. I mean, things did change.
No, things definitely changed. I got the co-branding deal with Spartan. Dream come true. Like, can't even tell you how exciting that is. Got a deal with Mark Cuban, Ali Webb. Here's the thing. Shark Tank changes lives. Interesting, because Spartan changes lives, right?
We changed your life.
You've changed a lot of people's lives. I'm just the one telling the story here. But you know what? You're going to kill me. What about, you should be a shark?
I would love to be a shark.
Would you?
I'd be a kettlebell shark.
You take the kettlebell? Oh, no.
Right? And if I don't like something, I drop the kettlebell on the floor. So,
no!
Yeah.
So, but would you actually, you would be a perfect shark.
I would do it. I'd be a shark. I'm afraid of sharks in the water.
Okay.
But
you're not in the water.
I'm not afraid of sharks. And that'd be fun.
Do you like the show?
Love the show. Me and the kids watch the show. Love the show.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're a fan.
Big fan.
Okay. So see, actually, you would be a perfect, a guest shark.
Do they bring in sharks? I guess they bring in other sharks.
They do.
Yeah.
Ali Webb was one of my business partners. She's a guest shark.
Yep.
Mark Cuban, started out as a guest shark.
Got it.
And became a permanent shark.
All right.
But they're always bringing on people that have, that are changing lives, people that are innovative, people that are no BS. If everybody comes out there and you're like, that's a really great idea, but I just not going to invest in it. You would be the last person to say that. You would make really good television.
I'm not delicate.
No.
How can people find out about the Shower Toga?
www.showertoga.com for the regular Shower Toga, Spartan.com for the Spartan Shower Toga. Better yet, go to a Spartan race, kick your ass, get muddy, go to the merch tent, buy your Shower Toga, get clean, change your life.
I like it.
She apparently chased me down for a long time. And I didn't, a lot of people will say, Joe, I emailed or I called, I tried to get you. And it's crazy because I answer every single email. So I don't know why she was having such a tough time to get to me. But she got to us. She got to us in a big way. I mean, I ended up climbing Mount Fuji with her. Right?
Yep.
She ends up at the farm.
Right.
She's got shower togas now. She ends up on Shark Tank. It's an incredible story.
Yeah, the thing I love about Kressa, and she is the real deal because I was in Vermont with her and we had a little kettlebell in the pond extravaganza and she stayed in freezing cold water to find this kettlebell. So commitment. Like
did not find it for those of you out there. There is a reward. There is a reward. It's called Kent Pond. It's in Vermont on Route 100, not too far from the farm where Spartan was started. If you find the kettlebell, you will get a lifetime season pass.
Ooh.
It's kind of like the Excalibur sword stuck in the rock that somebody had to rip it out.
Yeah.
Find that kettlebell. It's really annoying because now I got a brand new one from Dick's Sporting Goods next to me, which is not nearly as cool.
No, that is a JV kettlebell. The varsity one is in Kent Pond.
So it's cool. No, but it's cool.
Right.
I mean, she lost it. It was cool that she stayed in the water. All her teammates left, but
lots of commitment, dedication. And I think like that to me is sort of the theme throughout the podcast is her commitment to like perseverance and not quitting. And when she heard no's or when there were questions, she kept going. She was so dedicated to Shower Toga and like the launch of the brand and the consistency of the brand that she just kept going. And I think that to me, we need more of that. We need more of that commitment that when people come up against those walls, right? Come up against the things that are difficult, they figure out a way to go over it.
My father used to say over and over, not everybody has a stomach to be an entrepreneur, and I didn't understand what that meant, but I heard it for at least 2 decades, and I think that's exactly what we're talking about here.
Yep.
You could just see, we've been with her and a group of 8 or 9 people. She has that stomach.
Yeah, she does.
Right?
Yeah.
There's no quitting her.
No, I mean, I was literally just down in the festival area. I round across the corner to go to registration, and who's there? Kressa. With a mannequin putting on a shower toga, about to start like the water to make sure everything's all right for tomorrow. So again, that dedication and commitment. The other thing that stood out to me was the sacrifice that she made when she and her husband decided to basically live out of a trailer and figure out how to make this work, right? So again, it's sort of that like, what are you willing to do to move forward? What sacrifices do you need to make so that maybe your life is a little bit more uncomfortable, but then in the end, you get what you want?
I wish I was as succinct as you just were. As you said that, I thought back over the last 40 years of doing business, there have been hundreds of people I've come in contact with that I would love to have brought into the fold of a business I was building or running or even Spartan. And in most cases, people are not willing to let go of the safety net and take the leap.
Yep.
Right? So they want both.
Yep.
I need all my security. I need everything. And I want the upside.
Yep.
You don't get both.
Exactly.
It doesn't work that way.
Right. And I think that like dedication and intention around that, right? Like I'm intentionally going to let go of something so that I can bring more in. I'm going to say no to this so I can intentionally say yes to that. That creates an availability that few people have, I think.
By the way, those people are fun to be around.
They are so fun to be around.
Right?
Yeah.
They just get done. And when you're watching a movie, I was just watching a movie about a Russian sub. I think it was in the 80s that had sunk. And the movie goes through the people. Those are tight quarters. You're at the bottom of the ocean. Death is, a situation. But you could see the different personalities, and the personality that has Kressa's qualities and the kind of qualities we're talking about. Right. Those are the heroes, guy or girl, in the movies, right? So we're attracted to them.
Yeah, we all. Well, and I think that story too, because we all come up against those moments, right, where we have an opportunity in front of us, even if it's the smallest thing, even if it's, that looks really good for dinner, but in order to have that, I might have to let go of this. Like even something as small as that, those are the moments where we can really like show up for ourselves, and I think we need more of those.
We need more of those, and we need more of you. We want to hear from you, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram. Send us what you're willing to give up, what you're willing to sacrifice, what kind of commitment you're going to make to get some done. And by the way, you could write that you're not willing to give up anything, because there's lots of those too.